Hello, welcome back to the House of the Dragon reviews. You can see my hair is different, got a haircut, but that's besides the point. So today we're going to be talking about episode 8, and obviously I've been talking about this show since the back end of August and September, saying it's amazing, pointing out the plot, pointing out what's going on, where the show's going, where the story's going, how the characters are progressing, how the acting is, all of that stuff. And I did say that, it's like, before we get into this, right, I did say that I was gonna wait after the show's over to watch Game of Thrones, but I've been watching Game of Thrones, and yeah, the story, it's similar with the houses and, that stuff where you have power, you want to get the Iron Throne, get on the throne and that stuff. Game of Thrones is great, right? It's different and it has a lot more sort of like nudity and all of that stuff. So to contrast it with House of the Dragon, it's definitely different a little bit, because obviously House of the Dragon focuses on the Targaryens and that stuff, but that's I just wanted to throw that in there just as a little thing, because I did say I was gonna wait till Game of Thrones House of the Dragon's over. But yeah, it's definitely, I do think both of the shows are good. So episode 8, right? What happens in episode 8? What do I think? The episode is good, and in episode 8 we actually have another time jump. Like the last episode, or whenever it was, right, you had the characters where you had Rhaenyra and you had Alicent. The characters got a bit older. They weren't the original actors they were originally. So you had that, but this time jump actually has Aemond, right, the guy who got the dragon and he got his eye taken out, right, and you had that with that whole conflict in episode 7. You had that. You had him, he grows up, and then you have Aegon the Conqueror, who's actually in Game of Thrones as well. So you had that, so you had him, he was growing up. And you definitely still have the House Targaryen versus Velaryon in here with some points. But one of this episode with mixing all of that stuff in there, you definitely have some sad, dramatic moments in this episode. You still have a lot going on in an hour's time, and that's what's great about this show, that you have an hour to spend and you spend it well, definitely. So the saddest part of this episode is the king just gets worse in this episode. It's really sad to see, because Paddy Considine, however you say his name, the guy who plays the king in House of the Dragon, is one of my favourite characters. So I was really sad, right, if he was gonna die in the episode. It's gonna be like, oh, we spent 8 episodes with you, why did you die? But then you got to remember, yeah, he's like growing and he has this disease, and you have that stuff where he has a disease and he gets sick, and I thought he was gonna die in this episode, but they actually managed to keep him in this episode, and I'm just sitting there like, what? He's still alive. How do they do this? Right? So first reaction is like, if somebody is so sick, you'd think they would die, like die after. If they get progressively sick, they're gonna die eventually. And I think they may actually. My theory is with this whole plot point is they might actually try and make him live until the final episode, and maybe use like the funeral plot point to get into the meat of the meat of things, with what they're actually alluding to in the end of the series with the whole Targaryen civil war. But there is definitely that. There's that the King Viserys, but you still have Daemon, and you have Rhaenyra. They have that relationship going on. Then you actually, I'm kind of going all the way through, but you actually have this whole thing about Aegon the girl was Diana, right? This girl called Diana, right? She was really, really sad. And the thing was with her, like, she was really, really sad. She was telling Alicent this stuff, and Alicent's the queen and all that stuff. She was telling all this stuff, like, oh, Aemond did this. And Aemond actually... Oh, not Aemond, I can't... I'm sorry, right? Their names sound so similar, so sorry there. So, Aegon was actually doing this thing to, like, kind of like assaulting Diana, and she was like, oh, you raped me, and then she took this drink to help her so she doesn't get pregnant, kind of thing. So you had that, right? You see, and then Alicent, right, just goes, she finds Aegon, right? Oh, she finds Aegon, and then you have that thing where she actually kind of hits him and says, "Hey, Aegon, what are you doing? What were you doing back there?" kind of thing. And I was absolutely invested in these emotional parts of the episode, because the acting is amazing in this show. It continues to be amazing. So you just had those moments in the episode, and you seen the care, like the absolute care, like the writers, man. I gotta say that the writers seem to like really care about the show, because you see the actors, they're amazing, they're doing great performances. It's amazing what they can do in this show, man. Like, oh, like that stuff there, the emotional stuff, just yeah, it's just great. It's just a great episode, honestly. But there was the whole the so to get back to the meat of the thing here, the point kind of thing. So the back to the plot points. You had the king, right? The king's he gets really sick, and then you had the House Targaryen stuff. So there was the House Targaryen, and you have the Aegon and Aemon. Like, there was this actual part where Aemon was fighting. He was like fighting. Oh, what's his name? Sir Christian, I think. Sir Christian Cole, yeah, that guy. Right, they were fighting. You had that stuff, right? And I think this episode kind of proves that Aegon and Aemon are just absolute psychopaths, right? Had that, right, but there was actually this other point where, like I said about the king, how the king is still alive, right? He comes into the room. They go into, this is King's Landing kind of thing. That's what that castle was I was mentioning in a few reviews back. But King's Landing, whatever. They're all the Valerians and the Targaryens are there, and you see them have this stuff going on, and like Viserys goes up the throne and you're like, how is he still on this throne? And then you have Vaemond, right? Yes, he sounds like Aemond, but yeah, you have Vaemond who makes this kind of speech thing, like this petition to go onto the Iron Throne. It's like, he kind of just like goes crazy. He says too much, and then what he does is he calls like the house. Basically, he kind of like roasts House Targaryen and like Rhaenyra's children and all that stuff. And then the man's head just gets chopped off, and then you're like, wow, they chopped his head off. So there was that, and that stuff. Yeah, you had that leading up, and then you had this dinner time thing where it was really wholesome, right? Because like it was really wholesome. They were all having this family get together, eating dinner together. They all proposed a toast. Rhaenyra was saying, "Hey, Alicent, oh, you're amazing. I give you gratitude for being so good to the king," and that stuff. You had all these like praises, and then Aemond just kills the vibe, and then Aemond literally just comes out of nowhere, and then he's like, he just acts like a prick, man. This guy is a prick, definitely, and this. Yeah, man, this show is proving, how good this actually is, right? The family drama aspect is amazing. So, that is my review. If this went on a bit longer, there's probably a reason why that is, like, I don't, it's really good how much I actually like this show, because, man, it is just, like, amazing how great that the show has gotten better and better and better and better and better and better as time has gone on. The first couple of episodes, yeah, you had all that stuff going on in it. I did say that was where the show was, and then it picks up about episode 5 for me. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there before this goes on forever. I think I've said enough. What a wonderful episode indeed. So I shall see you next week for the next episode, which will be episode 9 and then episode 10, and then I'm thinking of doing an overall review of this show for the James Ramblin' Reviews, so stay tuned for that. For now, goodbye. House of the Dragon is amazing.